Ever since we started making videos about how to vlog, one of the most popular questions we've gotten is, how do you vlog in public without being too self-conscious about what other people think of you? And so we've got two different types of vloggers here. There's someone like me who, I can vlog in public, but it's something that I've really had to work on and become more comfortable at. And then we've got someone like Martin, who has always been okay in front of the camera and never really had a problem with it.
That's right. We have two personality types, so we can explain to you our approaches to it. It should be valuable to a few kinds of people at least.
First one is to use a small unobtrusive camera that is easy to use. For us, we like to use the GoPro, but a lot of other people like to use their phones as well. Some other people like to use mirrorless cameras or DSLRs, and truly all of those work. But I like to use a smaller camera because it draws less attention to you. You can walk around with a GoPro and people usually don't look twice at you just because it's so small and doesn't draw a lot of attention like a bigger camera with a giant microphone on it would. And another reason is the GoPro is pretty straightforward. You don't have a lot of settings to fiddle with. Once you set them, you can just turn the camera on and start recording, not worry about your aperture or focus. Everything just kind of works normally. And so, yeah, just use something that is small, easy to use, and doesn't give you a lot of pain just to start filming. The second tip is to have bullet points or like an idea of what you want to talk about. In fact, as I'm vlogging, I usually have my phone with like some bullet point notes that I can refer to in case I forget what I'm talking about, or I just totally get off topic. I can just refer back to those notes to get back on topic. The reality is, as you're walking around, there's a lot of things that might take your attention away, and so you have to be pretty certain about what it is that you want to talk about and have an idea. You don't really need a script per se. Some people do, but I don't usually like to do that because then if you get off script, it's hard to get back on script. And so just having bullet points is a easier way to get through it. Now, related to that tip is that you should also have tunnel vision. And so that just helps you, again, to just stay focused and not get your attention drawn away by other things. And it also, makes you not look at people that might be looking at you, which makes you more self-conscious. So have a, small degree of tunnel vision. Obviously, you want to be aware of what's going on so that you're not putting yourself in danger, but you also need to kind of stay focused so that you can film your video and not get off topic or not get distracted. And the next tip is just not to worry about what other people think of you. Some people might be staring at you a little bit, but the reality is they probably don't care what's going on. That, they're maybe a little bit interested in what you're doing, and if they do come up and ask you, you can just say, hey, I'm making a video about so-and-so, and it might actually be a really good conversation starter. So, don't be too self-conscious about what you're doing. Just stick to your guns, stick to your topic, and keep going. And the other nice thing about vlogging today is that everyone has cameras, whether it be cell phones or other small little mirrorless cameras. And so when you're at especially a bigger event or a really touristy area, there's going to be a lot of people walking around with cameras, a lot of other people vlogging even. And so it's become less of an occurrence where people are really going to wonder what you're doing or stare at you, because odds are there's going to be other people vlogging too. All right, and the last tip I can offer you is just to get out there and start doing it. Practice makes perfect, and it is definitely really hard to get out there and start vlogging. And the first few times you do it, maybe even the first 10 times you do it, you might feel really awkward and it may not be exactly what you want, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So just get out there and start vlogging and start practicing.
All right, so I have no idea what Susie has said. I was buying tropical fruit, but I'll give you my take on this. First things first, it helps a lot if by nature you're outspoken and don't care much what people think about you.
That would be him. So I'm the other way around. So a lot of you out there are probably more like me, where you've had trouble vlogging in public. And so those are the tips that I gave, is to help someone who has had trouble vlogging. But this is a guy who has never had trouble vlogging in public.
Yeah, so I just like to talk, first of all. Second, in class, I was always the class clown, trolling the teachers, and I just don't care, Actually, it's fun for me. And so when I'm in public, it doesn't matter. The main tip there is just relax, let go, ignore other people. Don't worry at all what they think. The truth is that the more you care what others think of you in life, the more it is taken away from your life and is detrimental to you overall. So the sooner you realize that, the more emancipated you are, and the more you can do this. That goes for any media creation and really any art. If you're a huge critic of yourself, you put all these barriers in front of yourself, you will not be able to perform to your maximum potential. So now, point number 2 I want to make, which I don't think Susie made. I have always been into language, and maybe because I'm a Gemini, that's what they say, right? And I always loved English as my top subject. Now I can speak it just fine. And part of it is in my head. Sometimes it's like I rehearse conversations and pretend like I'm writing almost, or just a speech, a rhetoric, you know. So there'll be times when I'm walking around or showering, whatever, and then I'm having some kind of narrative that I'm working on in my head, and I'm remembering bits and pieces of it. So if you have seen a lot of my videos on the Gemini Discover channel, I can flow off the top of my head for half an hour to an hour, no problem. And that's because of this process. My thinking process and a part of rehearsal that I do on the inside allows me to flow like that. And personally, I believe in what's called flow. There's a really good book by that name called Flow, and there's a certain type of mental state in which you can reach and you can flow, and it feels so natural and it feels so positive. You enjoy it for the sake of doing it, and that's really where you want to be if you want to perform at an optimal level. That goes for everything as well, but it's very, very true for vlogging. A third point to make is be prepared about your subject, but don't let that stop you. So this is a double-edged one, because there's a way, if you are knowledgeable about a topic and you just let go and you're like, I'm the expert, I will tell you what it is, and so on. And yes, that's very valuable because you feel like you have it, right? You're good at it and it's your expertise and it shows. However, there are many times, especially if you do what we do as travel vloggers, where you have no idea where you are, what's going on, at least not fully, right? And you don't want that to paralyze you. If you're new to something, make that be your expression. So say, yes, I am a total beginner. I don't know where I am. I'm perceiving all this anew. And what you're getting this time is that fresh look at things. And that's also very valuable to the viewer, especially when it comes for travel vlogging. So don't let the lack of knowledge paralyze you. You know, there's a book called The Zen Mind, The Beginner's Mind. And so it explains in that book at length how having that beginner's mind about a subject is actually very valuable, and you should strive for having it even though you may not be a full beginner. And as you go through life more and more, your mind starts becoming all crusty and your impressions get filtered through all your previous experiences and memories, and that makes you stale and not creative. So what you want to do is keep that beginner's mind at all times and be open to new things and new perceptions and react to them as if you're a beginner, almost like a child, and that will make you more interesting, more genuine, and so on.
I boil that down to be like Julian. He is a child, and yeah, he's taking in new experiences, and it's been very inspiring to watch him do that and remember that we have to be more like him in that way.
That's true. The children are the biggest teachers in that one, and having a child is so eye-opening about that, and it actually makes you feel young again, makes you feel creative and all that. You feel that spark, that vigor comes back. All right, those are my top 3 tips. Any closing thoughts?
No, that's it.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Gemini Connect signing out. It's very hot and we have tropical fruit to eat. See ya.